What if vampires didn't start in Transylvania, but in the sun-scorched sands of ancient Egypt? Uncover the shocking link between the god Amun Ra and the origins of vampire myths. Welcome to a journey through the shadows of ancient Egypt, where the immortal god Amun Ra might hold the key to the world's oldest vampire legends. In this video, we'll explore forgotten myths, unearth eerie connections between Egyptian beliefs and vampire lore, and reveal how the Scarab Beetle and the undead-shaped stories that still haunt us today. Stick around to discover a secret that could rewrite vampire history. Let's dive into ancient Egypt, a land where gods walked among mortals, and immortality was more than a myth. It was a promise. At the heart of this story is Amun Ra, the sun god, revered as the king of gods and the embodiment of eternal life. His power over creation and his radiant immortality made him a figure of awe. But could his divine essence also hide a darker legacy? Amun Ra's association with immortality wasn't just about divine radiance. It tied directly to Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. The Egyptians believed the soul, or Ka, could persist beyond death, sustained by offerings and rituals. But there was another aspect, the Ak, a transformed spirit that could roam the world if not properly guided to the afterlife. These restless spirits, lingering between life and death, bear a striking resemblance to the vampires of later folklore. Undead beings trapped in a liminal state, craving sustenance to survive. Now let's talk about the Scarab Beetle, a potent symbol in Egyptian culture. The scarab, rolling its dung ball across the desert, was seen as a metaphor for the sun's journey and the cycle of rebirth. Priests linked it to resurrection, believing it held the power to regenerate life. This idea of rising again, transformed and eternal, mirrors the vampire's ability to defy death, returning night after night. Could the scarab's symbolism have inspired tales of creatures who regenerate through blood? Egyptian myths also tell of gods and spirits who demanded offerings, sometimes blood, to maintain their power. Amun Ra, as a god tied to life's essence, was central to rituals involving sacrifice. Some obscure texts hint at shadowy figures, cursed priests, or rogue spirits who defied the natural order, stealing life to mimic Amun Ra's immortality. These stories, passed down through oral traditions, may have planted the seeds for vampire myths long before Dracula's shadow fell over Europe. But here's the mystery. If Amun Ra's legacy inspired vampire lore, why has this connection been buried for centuries? Most vampire stories point to Eastern Europe, with Egypt's role all but forgotten. Could it be that ancient Egyptian tales were too sacred or too dangerous to spread beyond the Nile? Or did later cultures reshape these myths, hiding their true origins? Let's explore this further. Amun Ra's influence stretched far beyond Egypt's borders, carried by trade routes and conquests. His imagery, golden, radiant, and eternal, appears in ancient art, from towering statues to intricate tomb paintings. These depictions often show him with a commanding presence, sometimes surrounded by symbols of life and death, like the Ankh and the Scarab. Such imagery could have inspired later cultures to craft tales of immortal beings who wielded power over life itself. The concept of the Ak also offers a chilling clue. Unlike the peaceful dead, an Ak that wasn't properly appeased could become malevolent, haunting the living. Egyptian texts describe rituals to bind these spirits, ensuring they didn't prey on the living. Sound familiar? This mirrors the vampire's need for blood and the rituals, like staking or garlic, used to keep them at bay. As Egyptian culture influenced Greece, Rome, and beyond, these ideas likely evolved. The Ak became the shades of Hades, and blood rituals echoed in later myths. By the time vampire stories emerged in medieval Europe, Amun Ra's legacy had been fragmented, his divine immortality twisted into the cursed, eternal life of the vampire. Even the Scarab's resurrection motif may have inspired the vampire's ability to rise from the grave, a concept that captivated storytellers across cultures. Here's the revelation. Amun Ra's myth didn't just influence vampire lore, it may have created it. The idea of an immortal being, tied to the sun yet thriving in darkness, sustained by life's essence, has roots in Egypt's sacred stories. What we call vampires today could be the distant echo of Amun Ra's power, warped by time and retelling into the bloodthirsty creatures we know. So the next time you think of vampires, forget the castles of Transylvania for a moment. Picture the golden sands of Egypt, where Amun Ra's immortality inspired tales of the undead. From the Scarab's rebirth to the Ark's restless spirit, ancient Egyptian beliefs laid the foundation for vampire myths that still captivate us. This forgotten connection reveals how deeply Egypt's gods shaped our darkest legends, proving that even the most modern horrors have ancient roots. Did this ancient vampire connection surprise you? Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more untold stories from history's shadows. Drop a comment. Do you think Amun Ra inspired vampires? Or is there another myth we should explore next?